Hey, this is Mark, and today I've got an iPhone 5S that is liquid damaged. You can see it got in the chestnut area, which is pretty typical, but it also got under the PMIC and some of the caps around it, but PMIC was a big part of the problem. So what I found was this line right here, I think it's PPGPU, was short to ground. And after removing PMIC, it is no longer short to ground. Now it naturally has a pretty low resistance to ground, but this was 0.002, which is lower than it should be. This line has these 4 coils on it, and each of these coils connects up to a row of 3 balls under PMIC. And it is the balls for this one, which I think is here. Well, yeah, I guess it would beep to any of them right now, but it was the balls for that one that are causing the problem. You can see there, getting 0.003. So I'm going to try to solve that by taking a donor PMIC and moving it over. And then probably have to do some work on chestnut, but we'll see. Alright, that looks good enough for now. Oh, not quite. Ooh, now I actually probably should have looked to make sure I have a stencil first. Don't work on a lot of 5s. I doubt the 6 stencil is gonna fit. Does it? Maybe it does. That looks like that might fit. Ooh, close, but no cigar. Right, that's off. The center section is 1 ball more on the 6. Okay, so I'm gonna go find the 5S stencils. Alright, I've got the stencil, and I don't have the good kind like I like. So I'm going to make do with this piece of junk. Just going to try and spread a little flux around, just a thin layer to help the chip stick to the stencil so that I can line everything up and then flip it over and throw a piece of tape over it. I think that's a little bit more than I want though. Alright, I think that'll work. Just gonna poke a few little holes here to help let the air get out when it starts to heat up. Everything's still lined up. Yep, we're good. Good there. Alright, put some paste on, see how this goes. I'm not great working with solder paste. I much prefer balls, but I'm not going to get any better at it if I don't sit here and do it. So I've been making myself use paste lately. Alright, let's see if that'll do it. Don't like the way the solder is coming up out of there. Just don't want those guys to bridge. Oh, maybe this worked. It's been a long time since I've tried to use paste in these stencils. And the last time I tried, it did not go particularly well. Just heating this up to soften up that flux a little bit. All right. This looks like it might work on the first try. Let's see if the toothbrush can get that cleaned up a little better. Okay, got a new chip ready. Go back to our damaged board. Try to get that as in focus as I can. Alright, I think that'll be good for the new chip. That was a little bit more of a shift than I would prefer. Had that a little bit too much off. But let's check what the multimeter says now. Once it's cooled down a little. Alright, this is more up like 0.025 and slowly counting. So it is no longer super low. And that line was PP1V1 CPU. Not, I think I said PPGPU to start out with. It's PP1V1 CPU. So it's going to have a pretty low resistance to ground, but usually something over 1 volt will have over 0.1 in diode mode. And this, when I took the PMIC off, this line was measuring a little over 0.1. Now it's at like 0.4849. It's still slowly counting as it cools off. So I think it's worth hooking up power now and seeing what it does on DC power supply. And it consumes 1 amp almost immediately. So I can only guess that I must have some bridged balls, VCC main to some other line under this guy from that shift. Pretty sure I have the orientation right. I think I do. Alright. Yeah, we got a couple of balls bridged here. I'm going to see if maybe I can just split those guys up and put this back on without doing everything over. Okay, got those guys split, and I think, yeah, there's a couple here that need to split. Okay. Now we'll just stick this same guy back on and hope for the best. Sometimes you can get away with something like this. Sometimes you can't. I just have to make sure I get this lined up as good as I can from the start. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. Add a little flux. Okay, try this again. Alright, I'm not getting a bunch of current consumption as soon as I connect power, so that's a good sign. That little corner of a cat peeking out just scared the shit out of me because I thought it was a solder ball popping out of CPU, but nope, we're good. CPU did not get too hot. So let's see what happens when we boot. It goes up to 120, 130. Sitting at 100, kind of flickering up and down a little bit. Looks like maybe it could be booting. Haven't seen it shoot up very high yet though, but I also don't have a screen attached. So let's hook up a screen and see what it does. Yeah, there we go. Pull in a little bit higher, and we have an Apple logo. Sweet, I don't have to do work on Chestnut. Awesome. Now let's just see if it has touch. I don't remember seeing a lot of corrosion in the touch area or around the connector, so I expect touch should be working on this. And I'm glad I didn't have to reball that PMIC again. That would have sucked. Alright, come on, little 5S. You can do it. Boot up for me. Come on. Come on. It's taking its sweet time, but it's not boot looping, so it should get there eventually. There we go. Alright, do we have touch? What is this? Is this another one of those press home to unlock? And oh, there we go. We do have touch. Alright. Brightness is low, but I did see we did have a desktop or a home screen there. Alright, I guess I will connect a dock. There's the dock. I don't know what I did with my 5S dock. Great. That's 5C. Where did I put you? There's one. All right. So backlight was working, so it's probably just the lack of ambient light sensor has made the backlight think it's super bright out, so it's now super dim. I'm not really getting anything on the screen now. But on DC power, it does look like it's still booted up and running. Alright, let's disconnect and start up again. This time with dock and home button connected. There we go. Come on, you can do it. Boot up. Oops. Alright, and image has gone out, and top of the board is a little warmer than I would prefer it to be, so I'm going to say maybe our guy Chestnut is having some problems. Didn't really get any water anywhere else. Top side of the board looks pretty good. I'm going to boot it up one more time with the screen just to see if I can pinpoint where that heat is coming from. Not really getting any heat right now, so it is something going on once the phone actually boots up. CPU is getting a little warm there. So I've had a couple of times. There we go. It's on again. CPU is warm. Backlight is dim. It's staying on now though. But let's see if I can get this backlight turned up. It's having a little bit of ghost touch here. And that could just be this screen. I grabbed one from the bottom of the pile. Display and brightness. Come on, just read my tap. No, not wallpaper. There we go. Alright, so screen is on, brightness is up, but you can see this kind of ghost touch kind of pulling down from the top. That is most likely just this screen. There, I was able to trust the computer. That's all I really care about. Alright, so I'll recover this later with another screen. I'm sure it's this junk screen. So, this one's solved. Alright. Got to keep the CPU a little cool during boot up, but then it's good to go and I can get the data. Replacing the PMIC, and before I did that I picked off a couple of really ugly looking caps, but that's pretty much it. Just really replacing the PMIC is what solved this one. So that's that, and thanks for watching.